shut up and listen. I have a lot of nicknames. Like, a lot. This isn't even close to my real name. And that was something I was comfortable keeping to myself. Until... So, you can blame Corey for this video. But hear me now. If you are a fake fan of this channel, if you aren't here for the Jimothy lore, then leave. Nah, actually, I would not blame you. This is something I did for my own amusement, and it's profoundly stupid. Enjoy the video. So we have a lovely list of nicknames that I have either gone by or someone has called me in a previous time. They're all right there. I think the first thing that we should do is establish our tiers. D tier, we'll call it Vehement Disgust. C tier, we'll go with a less aggressive, I'd rather not. I still don't want to be called it in this tier, but I'd rather not, you know? B tier, we'll call it, I do a little bit of a double take every time someone calls me this. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, it's just like, huh? What did you say? Now, A tier, this is where we're starting to get into some good ones. So we're gonna call it, go for it. You are encouraged to call me this nickname because I like it, it's good, we're fine here. However, there is one tier above. These are the nicknames that if every single person called me by one of these nicknames, I would be a happy man for the rest of my life. Call it the finest of them all. We may add more tiers later, but this is what we're gonna go with for now. Let's get started first with the alterations of my name. If you aren't aware, my real name is not Jim, it is Nathaniel. Lying on YouTube. But anyway, this is unfortunate, but I am burdened with a name that people assume you want to be shortened. So when I tell people my name is Nathaniel, and they repeat back to me, oh, you mean Nathan? Oh, where did you get that from? Vehement disgust. I cannot stand when people shorten my name to Nathan. It is disgusting. It makes me want to throw up in my mouth. I will never go by Nathan as long as I live, and I am sure to correct it every single time someone does that. Now, there's another one here, Nate. This one I also don't like. However, there is one individual in my life that calls me this, and they've called me it for about my entire life, so I can't really change it now because they're too used to calling me Nate. You know what? We need a new tier for this. Add row below. We'll call this Jason tier because Jason is the name of Lacrezy. If you've been around my Twitch stream, you might have seen him around. But he always calls me Nate, and I don't like it, but I've also kind of gotten used to it at this point, so he gets his own tier. Congratulations. Now, you might not think this is an alteration of my name right here, but it is, because little kids sometimes can't say Nathaniel, so they just say Daniel and assume that it's the same thing. This one is kind of funny. Like, it's children, you can't really get mad at them, but I'd rather not. Now that we've got those out of the way, the alterations of my name, let's go with the alterations of my YouTube name. If you don't know my YouTube name, look down. It's Jimothy. And Jimothy, obviously I created this name. This is not something that I don't like. Why would I create a name that I don't like and stick with it? You know what? When people call me Jimothy in like real life contexts, like I'm just walking down the street and someone says, hey Jimothy, that's cool. So that's why Jimothy's gotta go with the finest of them all. I mean, come on. Now there have been some alterations of Jimothy. For example, Jimbo. There is like 2 people that call me by this, and you know, it's all right. I do a little bit of a like what when someone says Jimbo. Not so much anymore because I've gotten a little bit more used to it, but it's kind of out there as far as Jim alterations go. It's a little bit strange, but I don't mind it. We'll put it in because that's honestly the feeling that I get when someone calls me Jimbo. Just Jim. There are some people that just call me Jim. That one is fine. It's close enough to Jimothy. That's cool. Now somehow Jim has also gotten changed to Jib with a B. I don't really know how that happened. It just kind of did, and now I'm Jib as well. So Jib, sure, go for it. I don't care. It's whatever. All right, now that we have the prerequisite names out of the way, we can get into the spicier ones. For example, this thing. You might be wondering, why is there a banana here? Well, some people call me the Banana Man. I don't even remember why. I haven't been called the Banana Man in a really long time, so it's hard to say how I would feel about it now. I would be mad confused if someone pulled this one out. I think I'd rather not. I don't really want to be associated with bananas. The fruit itself is fine. It just sounds a little bit strange, you know? Now, I'm not joking. This is a completely unrelated nickname, but the Cheese Man is also one of my nicknames. Completely different scenario, completely different situation. And for some reason, I like this one way more. So when people call me Cheese Man, go for it. All right, now we have the Mr. Trio. So here's a little bit of story time. Back in the 7th grade, my sister, she was in 9th grade. She was a freshman. She was taking Oklahoma history. And I, being a brother, was forced to help her study for her Oklahoma history tests. And if you don't know my sister personally, she is terrible at studying. She could not focus on what we needed to do and would mess with various things like jewelry, her phone, basically whatever she could get her little grubby hands on, she was gonna mess with. And so I, wanting to end the studying as soon as possible, had to become a sort of authoritative figure in those study sessions. For example, I would take her phone away, I would take away her jewelry, basically yell at her and keep her on track because I didn't want to be there for 5 hours. I had better things to do, like make tier lists. And so I eventually started calling myself Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill was her study teacher and would help her study and keep on track. It's got some lore behind it. I do like it as a nickname. However, as you will see, there is one that I like more from the Mr. Trio. So I'll just put it in eh. Now, Mr. Sill. Continuing this story, I eventually stopped wanting to help her study because of the aforementioned being terrible at study. It got to the point to where when she would ask me to study, I would say, let me check with my secretary first. And I called Mr. Sill, my secretary. What I did was I just called my own number and then pretended like I was on the phone. But I changed my contact name in my phone to Mr. Sill. Long story short, my brother-in-law saw that my name in my phone was Mr. Sill, and he thought it was funny, started calling me that. Believe it or not, Mr. Sill is my most prominent nickname out there. If you call me a nickname, it's probably a 60% chance that is this one. This is my magnum opus right here. So I can't go anything but put it in the finest of them all. In fact, I'm gonna even put it above Jimothy. There is one more. For some reason, AI voices like Siri and Alexa pronounce this name as Mr. Dill sometimes. I honestly don't understand how that happens. Vehement disgust. It's an imposter. This is my boy, Flat Stanley. The actual nickname is Stanley. I don't remember why, and honestly, I don't really care to remember why. I'd rather not. People also used to call me Norman, which is who this guy is. Norman is somehow worse than Stanley, so I'm gonna put it in vehement disgust. Please do not ever call me Norman. How do I even explain this one? Robert Jehulaheffen. There's one individual that calls me this. It's just so weird that I don't feel like it belongs in any of these tiers. I'm gonna put a new tier. Painfully niche. Yeah, it's just not relevant. If you knew the name of this guy before I said it, you are now my best friend because it's from the greatest show of all time. This is Sir Lord Quentin Tremblay III Esquire. There are several group chats in which this is my name. It's so long, it makes me giggle, so you know what? This is a nose. This nickname represents what I used to be called by one person for like 2 weeks. The name is Slant Nose. I used to play a lot of Warzone, like when it first came out. Me and this guy, we had code names for each other when we would play. He'd call me Slant Nose. I'd call him Avalanche. We thought it was cool at the time. I was like, I was like 16 at the time, so you can't judge me. I'd rather not be called Slant Nose nowadays. Steph Curry. In 7th grade, on the very first day of gym class, we were shooting basketballs. I shot a half-court shot and made it on the first try. And there was this 8th grader that called me Steph Curry for the rest of the year. That was it. Given that it was by one guy in 1 year, I think this is a fitting tier. The Master of the Game, or simply the Game Master. This is a nickname bestowed upon me by my siblings for being too good at board games. It feeds my ego. Go for it. I've never lost at anything ever. Oh, this is another Lacrezy story. He used to call me Waffles. Stick that in Jason tier. You get 2 names. And last, but certainly not least, we have a Wiggle Worm. planned this poorly. I don't remember how I got this name. But it was for like 2 years of my life, and several people called me that, so you know what? And that is a masterpiece right there. Hey, listen, if you don't know me in real life and you stayed for the whole video, please comment down below, because I genuinely want to know why. This was not a video to grow my audience. This was for my own self-joy. But hey, if you did, thanks. Corey, this one was for you. Subscribe for more dumb stuff.